All right, guys, I got a quick video for you today. I want to talk about why I stopped doing what society told me to do. I feel like we all fall into this trap where we have to do what everyone else expects us to do, right? You go you go through school, then you go off to college and get your degree and you get a good job and you work real hard and you climb the corporate ladder and you follow all these other social rules that it seems like we're supposed to do because everyone else is doing. And I feel like, I don't know, it seems like a lot of people are like miserable. So if they're all doing these same things and a lot of people are miserable doing them, then sometimes you just got to take a step back and think about things like rationally or from like an outside perspective, right? Like everyone says to go to school, get the job, get married, start a family, work for 40 years, and then you can enjoy yourself for maybe 20 years or so in retirement. And it's like, is that it? Is that really what our lives are supposed to be? Is that how we're supposed to spend our time on this earth like that? Like, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like, I feel like we can do more. Like, there's more offered to us to, you know, to spend our lives and to like create memories and do different things. And if you just do what everyone else does, you're going to end up in the same exact situation as everyone else. That just doesn't seem like, I don't know, it doesn't seem worth it. Like I'd rather like take some risks and do something different. And even if you fail, at least like you tried, rather than playing it safe and doing what everyone else does because that's what you're told to do. So I want to kind of talk about my story real quick. I finished school. I pretty much worked all throughout college, cash flowed school, got a good job. I was making good money, worked my way up a little bit. I was traveling, going to conferences all around the country. I got to go to a bunch of places I've never been to before. And it was a great experience. I had a lot of professional development. I learned how to network and my presentation skills got better. I got to see a lot of places that I probably would not have seen by this point in my life. So I don't take it for granted. However, towards the end of my time with that company, which I'm no longer with them for context, towards the end of that, that period of working with the company, I wasn't really happy. Like I was getting up 5 days a week, driving into the office. I was in the office 5 days a week working, and aside from the traveling, I wasn't really happy doing it anymore. So I had to ask myself, like, am I just gonna stay on this corporate ladder trajectory and try and continue to work my way up? Is that really what I want to do, or should I try something else? So I had been considering moving out of the state that I was in for a while, and I decided to just quit my job and move to another state without even a job lined up in the new city. It was a big risk. It was something different, but it was something I had been thinking about doing for a while. And I kind of put my money where my mouth is because, like I was saying, life's short, man. I don't want to just like work my way up the corporate ladder for 40 years just to enjoy myself for like 20 years. Like that doesn't sound right. I'd rather have some unknowns, I guess you could say. It makes life a little more interesting. Like that's when you get out of your comfort zone and you take risks, that's where you see the most progress. So that's exactly what I did. I just broke free from that situation that I was in because I don't know, it just didn't feel right anymore. I felt like I needed to do something different. And I mean, if you ask society and anyone else if it was a smart decision to quit my good paying job that I get to travel with just to move to another state and not have a job lined up at all, everyone would call me crazy. People probably did call me crazy, but for some reason I knew it was the right decision for me and I just took a leap of faith and did it. So the reason I wanted to make this video is, even if everyone else thinks you're making the wrong decision, it doesn't matter. If you have faith and you see an outcome and you see a path in your future, even if no one else believes it, you got to trust yourself. You got to trust your gut. And that's where real success comes from. It's trusting yourself and taking risks and doing things when even everyone is doubting you, but you have faith in yourself. So here's what you got to do. Number one, you got to get rid of the social norms, get rid of the normal trajectory of life that we've all been accustomed to and taught, going to college, getting a good job, working your way up the corporate ladder, starting a family, working for 40 years, and then retiring. Like, you got to think outside of the box. If that's what you want, that's fine. Like, everyone has the right to spend their life as they please. But I feel like a lot of people, especially now more than ever, don't want that. They want something different. They want to enjoy their lives rather than working for most of it just to enjoy a little bit at the end. So you have to fix your priorities. You have to focus on what truly matters in your life and what's going to matter in the future, and then create goals and a plan to achieve those things. And you really have to get rid of the whole FOMO thing, missing out on like parties on the weekend and like traveling now and posting pictures on Instagram. Like, all that shit doesn't matter. You gotta focus on what your end goal is and create a plan, a realistic plan with real steps to get there. And it's going to require some sacrifice. You're probably going to have to, you know, work a lot now to kind of set yourself up. You got to pay off debt. You got to start saving money. You got to start investing. But once you start getting these things rolling, and maybe you start a business for yourself, and things just start to kind of piggyback on themselves, and you make more progress, and maybe your business starts to take off, and you have some investments and you have savings, and gives you the ability to make changes in your life when things don't feel right. Like, for example, I had a good chunk of money saved just because I've always been a saver, and I never would have been able to just quit my job and move to another state if I didn't have that savings. So I say that to say I made a lot of sacrifices and skipped out on things earlier on in my 20s and even in my teens that a lot of people aren't willing to sacrifice because they want to do the normal society things. They want to go party. They want to go away to college and get that college experience, and they want to travel while they're young because they only have their 20s once. Yeah, a lot of people do want to do that, and again, that's what society tells a lot of people to do. But I was looking at it from a different perspective, and it allowed me to get out of a job that I really wasn't happy with anymore, and basically pick up my whole life and start over somewhere else. So those are the kind of things that I stopped listening to, quote unquote, society and the normal person's advice, and I started thinking of things from a different perspective, thinking outside of the box. And honestly, it's working for me so far. And quite frankly, I feel like if I keep this mindset and I keep kind of taking these calculated risks and trusting my gut and doing things differently, I feel like there's no reason why my life wouldn't be like happy and successful in the life that I want to achieve. Because again, I'm thinking outside of the box. I'm doing things differently. I feel like I'm working extra jobs and I'm trying new businesses. I'm working on this YouTube thing. Like, I'm just willing to just take risks and do things differently than the average person. And then you get different results than the average person when you take different actions than them. So really the reason I am doing all of this is because I don't want to live that 9 to 5 lifestyle for my whole life. Work, paycheck to paycheck for 40 years. It's just not it. It's not the life that I want to live. And I know I deserve more. And I think everyone else out there deserves more, but you have to be willing to put the work in. And if you do, at the end of it, you can pretty much do whatever the fuck you want. Like, if you have the money and the setup and the mentality and you've put in the work, you can pretty much do whatever you want. So that's kind of why I stopped taking society's advice. I feel like it just ends you up in the same position as everyone else, and I don't know. That's just not it for me, man. I don't want to live a life like that. I don't want to be a slave to the employer, working 40 years. It's just miserable, man. That's not the life I'm gonna live. I'd rather fail trying than just accept that lifestyle and know that that's what I'm gonna live for the next 40 years. 60 years, whatever it is. So yeah, man, that's everything I had to say for today. If you guys are new here, I post a lot of content about personal finance, personal experiences, just like my opinion on things. I post every Tuesday and Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, and then also on Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. So if you like this kind of content, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And matter of fact, I want you guys to drop some comments down below. Like, let me know some of the advice that you've gotten over the years that maybe didn't turn out to be good, or you're kind of questioning it now. Maybe it's something you've been told recently and you're wondering if it's good advice. Or on the other hand, maybe you have some really good advice that you think people in their 20s or 30s, or even beyond then, might benefit from. So drop a comment. Let me know what you guys think. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you in the next one.